Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. With your host, Berserker, this is Unshackled Fury.
The time ways have been restored, but vengeance is lurking around the next corner as the Dragonflight saga rages on. So welcome back to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions, Unshackled Fury. I'm your host, Berserker. This is episode 129, and on today's show, we're talking Fallout from the new Mega Dungeon, what might be coming next, big financial news, BlizzCon predictions, another farewell, and more. But first, I've got something for you guys this week that I think you're really gonna like.
Berserker, this is management.
Oh shit. Well, it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. How are you, management?
Oh, fine. We're looking for a little help from you, and since you're here, we figured now would be a good time to jump in.
Yeah. It's a fine time. What's going on?
Well, as you know, BlizzCon is around the corner.
I did hear about that. Yeah, I heard about BlizzCon.
Well, we need to be able to sell your show. And I don't know if you know, but you went on an unannounced vacation. And it's pretty hard to sell a show that doesn't have a recent release. You know what I'm saying? No recent releases.
Yeah, but I mean, I came back. There was something after that one already.
Well, yeah. But do you know how hard it is to secure a BlizzCon press pass with dormant shows?
I imagine that it's got to be quite difficult. So yeah, but I'm here. I'll be here all the way through. In fact, I'm recording this show technically on Monday instead of Sunday because Sunday got so crazy I ran out of time. But I am committed to making sure that our listeners have some quality content to help power them through for the next stretch of time.
Well, that's fine. But what we're looking for right now is we need a clip.
A clip? You need what kind of clip? Like a hair clip?
No, we need a clip of the show. Something that we can take a little clip of the show and take that out to our sales pitches and maybe attach them to some other promotional items.
Ah, I see. You're looking for like a little elevator speech.
Yeah.
Something that people can kind of get a flavor of the show quickly and conveniently.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need a clip, we'll try this. Are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Here you go. Attention. Have you or someone you love become tired of listening to the same old World of Warcraft podcasts? Have you Titan forged one too many lore watches into starting zones? Then come on down and listen to the only show for the everyday World of Warcraft player, the Unshackled Fury podcast. With insider analysis from a deranged warrior who's seen it all and probably taken one too many shots to the head. Unshackled Fury covers all the news and notes you need to know in and out of Azeroth. So come on down and download the show now on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts today. The Unshackled Fury podcast contains strong language, and listeners of the show must be accompanied by an adult at all times. Listen responsibly. How was that?
I think we can do something with that. No promises, but I think that's fine. So get back to work.
Gotta love those visits. Gotta love those visits from management. Well, anyway, for you this week, I have a delightful metal album of the week from a band that's a little off the beaten path, shall we say, when it comes to the metal world. The band is Powerwolf. You've never heard of Powerwolf. They're a German power metal band that does a lot of like gothic werewolf shit. It's honestly, it's a little hard to describe, but they have a fantastic sound, and I wouldn't normally do this except for the fact that they just own so many of these so well. Is going back to July of 2015, they released an album called Metallum Nostrum, which I believe roughly translates to Our Metal, and it's a cover album covering songs from Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Amon Amarth, Ozzy. Like, there's some really, really good covers on here. So I would not put a covers album as like, hey, this is something that people should listen to, because maybe one or two is all right. These are all bangers, certified bangers, all of it, all the way through. Their regular albums, the other ones that they've done, are great. No complaints there. I highly encourage you to go out and listen to them. Sanctified by Dynamite is a fantastic song. But this is the one for this week. Metallum Nostrum by Powerwolf. Check it out. Should be available just about everywhere. But that is the recommendation for this week. And seeing as how management took up a little time already, I think it is time for us to jump into our rage portion of this episode. And I've got something for you that's a little more of a personal one. So let's get into it.
Let's rage.
Now, folks, let me tell you, I'm in a state of absolute chaos. Our beloved BlizzCon is just around the corner. But what do I find? Chris Metzen's autographed art being sold at Comic-Con instead. Who gave the green light for this betrayal? Seriously, who's responsible for this heresy? Was it the work of a rogue goblin tinkering with the timelines? Or perhaps an overenthusiastic gnome pushing the wrong buttons? I'll execute a whirlwind on them. Wait a minute. I haven't attended BlizzCon 2023 yet. I mean, it's not here yet, right? Oh well, no matter. It's better to rage and vent now, right? I mean, who knows what will happen at BlizzCon? Maybe Chris Metzen himself will emerge from the shadows, riding a fiery dragon, and soaring over the crowd. And then, in a grand spectacle, he'll rain down signed art prints upon us like divine blessings from the Titans. Just imagine the thrill of catching one of those in your mighty hands. Oh, the exhilaration. You're like looting an epic weapon with perfect stats. The stuff that legends are made of, my fellow adventurers. But alas, now I must face the disappointment of not seeing the art at BlizzCon just yet. So I'll have to hold on to my BlizzCon ticket like a prized heirloom, waiting for that sweet moment when the gates open, unveil all of the wonders within. Fear not, I shall not lose hope. I shall take my frustrations to the forums and unleash my unshackled fury, demanding justice for Chris Metzen's autographed art. The forums shall tremble, and my virtual foes shall cower in fear, just like when a horde of murlocs descend upon unsuspecting adventurers. We shall make our voices heard. Say, BlizzCon, hear my call. Bring forth the art of our hero, Chris Metzen. Face the wrath of 1,000 feral druids. Well, I think that's all the rage we have time for today, my fellow warriors. But don't lose hope just yet. BlizzCon may surprise us with the art that we seek. So, let's just put a pin in this for now and get on to our news. Fractures in Time. Patch 10.1.5. It's here. We've been doing it. We got a couple weeks in here. And what was once speculation, what was once just a tantalizing preview, has now become reality. And people have begun to make their way through, among other things, the brand new mega dungeon, Dawn of the Infinite, that has been wreaking havoc. Just a quick recap: 8 bosses, mythic difficulty, 5 players at a time, and our storyline for Dragonflight passes through this mega dungeon. Something that, I'll be honest, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Now, as a vehicle to tell a story, I think this can work. I think that it probably does work well here because you have a pretty long runway to have your story, tell your story, talk about your story. But it's also kind of gated behind some fairly difficult terrain. And for some people, oh yeah, Joe, you can just run it Mythic 0, no problem. All right, hey, listen, cool. You got to do it. Good for you. You banged right through it. Not everybody's so lucky. But be that as it may, this is a podcast. We got to talk about storylines, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what happened, where it left us, and where we might be going. So if you recall, leading into Dawn of the Infinite, into this mega dungeon, right? Nosdormu. All this time that we've known Nosdormu, gonna become Murazan, sees his death, right? That the Titans had gifted him a vision of his death, and that's how they kept him in line, so to speak. But this vision of Murazan, right, terrified him, and I swear that it was somebody famous who voiced Nosdormu originally. Like when we saw him in the dungeon and we had to fight him, Like, that voice sounds really familiar because if you go back and you listen, you know, they change these voice actors from time to time. And so we don't necessarily get all of the same continuity when we are hearing these voices. But I would swear that Martin Sheen is voicing Nosdormu originally. And it's so random. Like, I don't know why it would be him in a dungeon, but go back and listen to it. I swear to God, it sounds just like Martin Sheen. Anyway, gifted with these visions, knowing this future, right? How do we get there? We've been helping out all the other flights. Black Flight, right? Give him a new aspect. Blue Flight, we got them reunited. We gotta figure out what's going on with these bronze fools because we haven't resolved that issue yet. What happens? How does Murazon come to be? And so here we have Dawn of the Infinites focused on making that moment in time happen. And so we get kicked off. We've had visions and discussions with Nosdormu. He's freaking out, but Chromie's here to help. That's the number one thing. Chromie is here to help. So Chromie is gonna take our hand, lead us through Chronormu. We set off on some introductory quests, and we're helping to calibrate some timelines, although it seems that we're not really recalibrating anything. We're letting alternate versions of Chromie loose. Chronormu, Gnomey, a Tyrannosaurus Chromie, a Mecha Chromie. Like, there's all these Chromies running around. We're like, wait a minute. This isn't future Chromie. This is Morchi, the gothy, bratty version of Chromie. Even worse. Even worse. We find this out, and it's determined, well, there's only one way. We have to go into the Bronze Temple. We got to track down the infinite dragon flight, try to stop them. Chronoloord Dios. We got to stop them. So in we go. Chronocar. First big guard that we face. Get through there. Manifested Time Ways. They're pissed because somebody already got past. But we get past them. Then we get to the Bladed Galakron. And this is where things really start to go down. Where it turns out, long story short, if you look into Galakron's past, corruption by the old gods, right? Old gods, void energy, all this stuff. And here is a Ridicron trying to siphon away some of this energy, some of this voidy energy or whatever it is, from Galakron's corpse. I think it was Yogg-Saron was the one that was responsible for this. So into this disc-looking object, which is frighteningly similar to the Dragon Soul / Demon Soul, something that everybody recognizes, very powerful artifact from the past, and now Ridicron appears to have one of his own. Thankfully, Chromie able to destroy it. We band together to stop Ridicron, but somehow, some way, Murazon still rises, and the timeline has gotten jacked up. Uh-oh. So now we are having to go back in again and undo the timeline that has now been unleashed upon us. So we went in to try to save it. Didn't work. Got to try it again. So to get back into the temple, we have to fight a different version of Tyr. Tyr, the Infinite Keeper. Like I mentioned before, fantastic design. I love the Infinite design. But it's just very dark and lightning-y and glowy, and it's just the art team is crushing it. Between this and the what is it? The Shadow Flame. Awesome. Love it. Fantastic. Some questions, which is this version of Tyr that we're fighting? It's not really clear, but you got to get past him. So you get past him, you got to get through an infinite gauntlet. Don't get touched. We end up at a time-lost battlefield. Horde and Alliance battling out forever. We gotta set right all of these All of these disruptions, these anomalies, we gotta stop them. Gotta put them right. So if you're Alliance side, as I mentioned before, you fight Grom Hellscream. Badass. Seen this guy. Gorehowl. Greatest model of an axe probably in the game. And I say that as a full-fledged Alliance. It's fantastic. As Horde side, you fight Anduin Lothar. If you don't know your history, one of the greatest generals, if not the greatest general in the history of the Alliance. I'll even say it. Better than Varian. Legend. We get past them. All right. Stopping some anomalies. You got to stop Morchi. Eventually, of course, we get past that Morchi. Morchi seems has a change of heart towards the end. Actually gives us something that is helpful. This little time trinket. And we use it once again. Try to get through this temple and stop Chrono Lord Dios and the Infinite Dragonflight. It gives us enough power to get in. And here we go. Ganging up. Defeat Chrono Lord Dios. We have seemingly stopped the corruption of Nosdormu. A little anticlimactic in that way. Just, okay, I guess it's just not happening. But in order to do what we've just done in sort of the second half of the dungeon here, we had to go back in time to once again try to undo these things. Well, that means we also undid us stopping Iridikron from getting his whatever new dragon soul of voidy energy, and he gets it. And he opens up a void tear, and he disappears through it and taunts us as he does it, asking, have you ever questioned why the Titans preserved this timeline? And off he goes. So on one hand, at the end of this dungeon, we have seemingly stopped Nosdormu's corruption. So he apparently is not going to become Murazon now. But Iridikron has managed to steal this void essence energy, whatever, from Galakron's corpse, encapsulated in some sort of device, and has disappeared off into the void. Probably not the best. That's probably not great. There's an epilogue of this, of course, help us out. And it leads us down to where we're probably going to go next. We'll get to that in just a minute. When I was talking about this in the last episode, sort of surmising, all right, are we going to stop this corruption? Are we not going to stop this corruption? What are the advantages, disadvantages? And this does feel a little too simplistic. For a storyline that's been around for such a long time, it seems like we're missing something. It does feel like we're missing something. And has been theorized in a few places. I could see where the corruption that Murazon still happens. Honestly, as long as Nosdormu is alive, I think it's always a threat. Does he have to sacrifice himself at some point to prevent it from happening, or does it happen and then we just got to take him out? I feel like we're heading down one of those two paths. I don't know how else we do it. So that's one issue, perhaps, was that a little too convenient? I don't know. There's also seemingly a split between these primal incarnates. We have Iridikron out here messing around with old god void energies. That's not good. And the parallels between Iridikron and Deathwing really getting close now, where the charge, protection of the earth, similar, right? Corruption by the void, similar. Maybe Iridikron thinks he can do it better. Guess we're gonna see. But his motives are different than it seems than his siblings. where Farak and Viranoth are more focused on enacting vengeance, where, as we saw in one of the other cinematics of this half batch, where Viranoth is actually visiting Alexstrasza, and why that's not a boss fight right there. I just came and let him go. Let her go. There is an acceptance there by Alexstrasza that, yeah, the Titans just forcibly ordering the world and having influence on eggs and unborn dragons, that wasn't right. Uh-oh. One of the aspects saying that the Titans had done wrong. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know that I've ever heard that before. So again, it reminds me of discussions that we had back in Shadowlands, where choice was the issue, right? With the Titans forcibly, imposed their will upon Azeroth. There's this nascent world soul growing within the core of the planet, and that is the major concern here. And that basically the timeline, it seems like they're trying to protect, is that world soul becoming a Titan in a vision that they foresee. And they'll do anything to make that happen. And where certain things can be explained away is like, well, this is for the good of all things. That, well, maybe you should give people a choice, or give beings a choice, before you decide, well, everybody's going to be this kind of dragon. Ooh, don't know about that. And so we have Farak and Viranoth out here. They don't seem to care about the void. They don't seem to care about those kinds of essences or energies. They just want to blow shit up, which I can appreciate, honestly. And then you got Iridikron out here trying to fight the Titans with void power. Like, very, very different ends of the spectrum here, I feel like. And seemingly this is now going to set us up for what is now coming down the road. Iridikron, the not old god expansion that we're heading towards, that's maybe getting put on the back burner for a bit. Because in the epilogues, and now pulling up back to that, it seems like we're going to be dealing with at least Farak next, who appears to be going after the new world tree, which they have named Amirdrasil. So this is the one that we've seen. It was planted recently. This was the souls of all of the night elves lost in the burning of Teldrassil, right? It became a seed in the Shadowlands, and now it's been planted, and it sprouted into a tree, and now this is the new world tree. And Farak, who is sporting that badass shadow flame, looks like that's the next sort of chapter in this coming down the road, is Farak, shadow flame, versus a world tree. And we have seen a few world trees explode and ignite and be on fire, and this is nothing new. Although I feel like the outcome is going to be a little different, because this is a lot of time investment into this tree by us as players, and emotionally for anybody that gave a shit about the storyline for the Night Elves anytime between basically Warcraft 3 and Shadowlands. They're not going to let this go. They can't let this go. I don't know. We're playing with some timeline stuff, and that can start to get out of hand very quickly. But that's where we're headed, and we'll see how that plays out. So at this point, we've got Nosdormu seemingly free of his future corruption, and he's feeling good. Although, I question whether or not that's the truth. We have Iridikron running wild in the void with his essence and a new dragon soul, whatever the hell that thing is. And we have Farak and Viranoth about to run wild. So, that's if I understand it, generally where we are coming out of the dawn of the Infinite's mega dungeon, and has been oh god, I can't even say it, and has been pointed out. There it is. It's dawn of the Infinite. Probably not done. Probably not done with them. Probably not done with them. Which we shouldn't, because it's, again, I love the Infinite Dragonflight. They should just, I don't know, put them away in a pocket dimension somewhere and pull them out when it's fun. Love them. So what's next? Well, we already have an idea. Because Blizzard has already put patch 10.1.7 on the PTR. That didn't take long. And they're calling it Fury Incarnate. So that does sound like Farrakh going around and ripping shit up. So they have updated that big roadmap. So the 2023 roadmap that we've all been looking at, the background on this roadmap is now embers and fire and some volcanic looking stuff. It's fantastic. And it includes some more information about what this next sort of mini half patch is going to include. And those are new public events that they're calling Dream Surges, the Heritage Armor quests for the Night Elf and Forsaken. Those should be really good. They're bringing in new customizations for Night Elf, Forsaken, and others. They're going to be adding the heroic difficulty to the Mega Dungeon I just discussed. There will be new story quests, including Reforging Tyr. That's something that we've been working on and really been enjoying that storyline so far. So happy to see that continue on. And holiday refreshes to both Brewfest, the greatest of all holidays in World of Warcraft, and Hallows End, which might be number 2. So, with that being said, if we had to throw a dart, we're looking at Brewfest and Hallows End. Could be about a Labor Day special. Pace continues to blow me away and amaze me. And it continues to fit what I feel is the intended pace in order to get Season 3, in order to get patch 10.2 out by the time BlizzCon hits. I think that's what this entire schedule has been based around, is trying to get patch 10.2 out or like right at release before BlizzCon, so that way we can get whatever big announcement is coming next. A lot of us think it's going to be an expansion, and I think we're starting to get even more credibility to those guesses because, moving on, we have a floor map for BlizzCon. Just this past weekend, we had the last round of tickets. So at this point, all of the sort of, I guess, base level tickets, we'll call them, have been sold out. We don't know about any other, fancy dinner tickets like they used to do, the charity dinner. I believe it was for the Orange County Children's Hospital. I haven't seen anything about that. The press portal hasn't opened up yet, so have not made any attempts to go through there, although I've got a ticket, so I don't know. Kind of doesn't matter. I'll be there one way or another. But what we did get a look at is the sort of basic idea for what BlizzCon is going to look like. It seems like every time we've had one, it's changed a little bit, and it's almost kind of hard to imagine by looking at the map for this year truly how big some of these halls are and how much space they're going to inhabit. So looking at the floor map that's been released, we see that there are 4 major halls, right? A, B, C, and D, and then the arena. We were told, or at least in the initial press material, right, they only named Diablo, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft, I believe, as the major franchises they were focusing on. And the map seems to follow that to a T. For Hall A, all Diablo. Hall B will be the Overwatch World Cup, which to me says we're building an arena. And if it's anything like what I saw the last time we were there, holy shit, it was phenomenal. And that'll be a really great space. Hall C will be all dedicated to Overwatch, while Hall D, which is the biggest one of all, it's like almost twice as big as the other ones, will be World of Warcraft, Warcraft Arclight Rumble, Hearthstone, and the Dark Moon Fair. All the way at the other end on the, I guess it's the east end of the whole complex, is the BlizzCon Arena. That's where the opening ceremonies and panels are going to happen. A lot of stuff will be there. Up on level 3 is the Portal Pass. So if you paid the extra $500, you can go up there and, I guess, take a seat and get some food. And then in the attached building, which I haven't even seen because they built this since I've been there, there's North Hall, levels 1 and 2. One is registration. The other one is the BlizzCon store. And the BlizzCon store, the last time I saw it was in the basement of the convention center. So that's fine. No problems there. But what are we going to get? What does this look like? What does this look like to us? So other than the Overwatch World Cup, I go back to what could these halls A, C, and D, basically, what could they be? What could those possibly look like? And I'll go back to the text of one of the releases that they put out that says, whether you're kicking back in Azeroth, exploring the mysteries of a dark cathedral of sanctuary, or playing alongside the heroes of Overwatch, we want you to feel you are entering universes alongside your friends as you celebrate and experience what we're building next. In other places, they've talked about installations. They've talked about kind of the things that they're going to bring in. And I've said it privately. I didn't put it out on Twitter. I could very well be wrong. But the way that I read this and what I'm looking at is an immersive experience. And if you're talking about halls this size that'll be completely dominated by one franchise, because I've been there. If you've seen it, you know how big, especially Hall D is. It's enormous. Like I can't even really compare it to anything. It's just being inside of it it's an enormous space. I have to believe that we're talking about like a mock Stormwind or a village, that's going to be Goldshire, or it's going to be, Lordaeron or Teldrassil or Orgrimmar, or that there will be capital cities that we can visit, something to that effect, like huge installations where you feel like you are really in a place. To me, you do something like that, that's worth $300, because that is a true experience. That's not just sitting on some chairs and listening to some panels. Like, oh, that's nice, I'm gonna go check out some merch. Like, no. This is, I feel like I'm walking the streets of Stormwind. Or imagine Diablo. I am in this scary ass cathedral and there's giant slug monsters trying to get me. Like, I'm not gonna handle that well, but I'll do it for you, my dear listener. I will subject myself to that and scare the shit out of myself. But that's what this looks like to me. One part of it's going to be Dark Moon Fair. One part of it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to look like they got Hearthstone tables or something, or Arclight Rumble. I don't know. Maybe there's some stations there you can try some stuff. That to me is what that looks like. And if you're talking about what's coming next, that's expansion time, baby. It's got to be. Diablo, what's your expansion? Overwatch, I don't know what's going on with Overwatch. Overwatch 2 has been a mess. World of Warcraft, where are we going? Is it the pirates of the Azerothian? Is it some other wild thing we haven't thought of? Are we going underground? Where are we going? What are we doing? Are we reordering the planet? Is it the WoW 2.0 all these people have been screaming about? I don't know. But I feel reasonably confident we're going to find out when we're all sitting in there. Chris Metzen selling me trinkets out of a stall. If you don't get that reference, please watch the Warcraft movie again. the extras because I think he got cut. But he was there, damn it. We saw it. But I'm excited. And I know that there's people like, oh, that's not worth it. All these, there's not going to be as many panels, or there's not going to be this, that. Let me describe to you, if you've never been there, what my experience has been with BlizzCon. There's a handful of panels that you can get to, but there's a bunch that you're not. The front half of all of the halls were just vendor space. Oh, buy a Razer mouse, or here's Intel, or here's AMD, or here's Hello Kitty, whatever. I mean, there's a bunch of wasted space in there anyway. And then there were some like cool statues, and then maybe some stations where you could try some of the new shit, right? I imagine there'll be stations where you can try the new stuff. But building those spaces out, like prefabricating, right? This is what I'm imagining, is prefabricating a bunch of things and then bringing them in there and setting them up for that, week or however long before the convention actually happens. You can curtain off, anything related to the new stuff, right? You can curtain that off, keep people away from it until the main opening ceremony happens, and then, everybody will see it like, oh shit, we're going to the moon. Going back to Argus. I don't know, whatever. You'll see it. Oh, Light and Void, it's Anduin. It's the sexy bearded Anduin that Berserker's been telling us all about. Something. But that's what this feels like. And I could very well be wrong. I mean, I hope I'm not. I think it'd be cool as hell to walk through the gate of Stormwind, be there, to be in that immersive experience, to feel that vibe. Like, I miss it. Not gonna lie. I said it before and I'll say it again. The vibe at BlizzCon, the energy is real. It is real. And I don't have like a bunch of crystals around my house, and I'm not like, oh, energy vibe. Like, I'm not that person all the time. Sometimes, maybe I think I am. This place definitely has it. It has the vibe. You feel it. It's just good feelings most of the time. It's just nothing but love and community. And when there's cool announcements and fun spaces, like, I'll pay $300 for that all day long. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. And I'm glad that I can. And I hope it is a good experience for everybody. And I know they're trying to make it something special. And to me, this will definitely make it something special. So we'll keep an eye on it as we get closer to the convention, right? They'll start to give us more detail. They'll talk about what's going on. They'll give us more of a schedule. Everybody looks through that schedule, go, oh, what is this? Oh, what is that? Oh, there's a block of time here that seems awfully suspicious. It's coming. It'll be great. But that is your BlizzCon update. And from there, I guess we'll find out what happens at the end of the Dragonflight saga and what we're on to next. In the meantime, I talked about before how 2023, right, coming out of the pandemic years, 2023 was poised to be a monster year for Activision Blizzard. And in the recent Q2 earnings call for Activision Blizzard, that has come to pass. Because for the first time in a quarter, Blizzard has generated over $1 billion in quarterly net bookings. That means like sales of digital and real world stuff. I mean, it's bonkers. This amount of money is crazy. Diablo 4, we knew it was going to be popular. Blowing up. 10 million players. 700 million hours just in this one quarter. Just since its release. It hasn't been out that long. That's wild. Incredibly healthy for the company. Especially considering that, lo and behold, and I felt reasonably confident about this. I don't know. Maybe it's my own cynicism from my day-to-day life, but I had a feeling that the Activision Blizzard purchase by Microsoft was going to go through. And lo and behold, the FTC was defeated in court. And although an extension to October 18th is now required because it was like right up to the date the FTC was trying to sue and stop, and there's all this shenanigans going on. But it appears that in the next few months, the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard will happen. Does that mean that Bobby Kotick is running on borrowed time? Gotta hope so. Gotta hope so. But Activision Blizzard looking really strong. Blizzard in particular with Diablo 4. It's madness. They're growing year over year right now. Much bigger year than last year. The active user count is down by a little bit. 26 million versus 27 from Q1. But that's, I'm not a math person, but that feels like a standard deviation somewhere in there. At least I remember that term. Talking about World of Warcraft specifically, how number one, the delivery content has been super fast and has been the fastest really of any of the modern games. But more importantly, that subscriber retention, say in the West, although there isn't Warcraft in the East, China's gone. That subscriber retention remains higher at this point than any other modern expansion. They don't give us those figures anymore. My guess is it's probably somewhere, 6-7 million, 5-6-7 million, probably somewhere in that neighborhood. If it was at like 12 million of the Wrath days, they would definitely tell us. But they're staying stable, and Diablo 4 probably taking some of that time from the other franchises, but Diablo 4 is blowing up. So all in all, Activision Blizzard, continues to lurch its way forward to this acquisition. This acquisition that we're all hoping is going to have, some kind of positive effect on the company that's just had so many problems over the years. I will say that their stock is up. Right now, it's about as high as it's been in a couple of years. Let's say it's the highest it's been probably about 2 years. Right now, actively trading right now as I record this, it's about $92.50 per share. Remember the highest it ever was? It was in the 103, 105 back in 2021. But this is just about as all-time high as it gets. So the health of the company is good financially heading into this merger. And again, the hope, right, is that Bobby Kotick is gone, that this terrible leadership we've had at Activision Blizzard is gone, that the pressures to just pump shit out instead of really creating quality content, that mindset alters, that it shifts. We'll see. From the people I've talked to, Microsoft should be a better steward, but at the end of the day, these are humans involved, and they make human decisions, and sometimes those aren't always right. But I guess the alternative would be to hand everything over to our robot overlords, and I don't know that that's something that we want to do. And speaking of which, did you notice anything odd about today's Rage segment of this show? It was a little more animated, perhaps, than usual, but did you notice anything odd about it? Well, whether you did or you didn't, it was all written by AI. That entire script that I read for today's Rage segment was written by ChatGPT. Typed in a couple things for a prompt, and that is what it spit out to me. A mostly coherent rant about a very true thing. Chris Metzen, signed Chris Metzen art is being sold at Comic-Con, and I was like, what the fuck? That should be a BlizzCon exclusive. What the hell is this? Oh no. Oh no, that was not written by me. That was written by the AI, Chat GPT. And I just wanted to highlight how AI can affect so many aspects of our lives and entertainment and what we do. And how that ties in is that recently some Redditors trolled the website zleague.gg, which basically uses an AI to scrape gaming subreddits for news articles and just pumps out shitty article after shitty article. So in order to troll it and make fun of it, players came up with something called Glorbo, which was not a real thing. This is, if you've heard this or seen this on the periphery, Glorbo is not real. This is not a feature or a person or a pet, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the fuck is this? No. This is something that a bunch of Redditors trolled, and this website picked it up and sure enough printed out an article saying Glorbo, introducing Glorbo. Players are excited for Glorbo. No, it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit. And as people have come to find out, or when they're really looking into it, this website, zleague.gg, is horrendous. And it is painfully obvious what is happening here. And as was pointed out in a Wowhead article, there is an author by the name of quote unquote Lucy Reed, who managed to churn out 83 articles in one day alone. And that can't be real. That cannot be a well researched, written, and edited document. Not that many, and not in one day. Like, I read, write, and edit for a living. There ain't no fucking way. Let me just tell you. Ain't happening. But it highlights something that so many of us are talking about these days in so many different arenas, which is the impact of AI on our lives. And here's another example. So, when you see these kinds of things, just keep in mind the source, because you never know where it might be coming from. You never know if it's valid or bullshit or what. So, zleague.gg, probably won't be going there. And if you tell me that today's rage segment was better than the ones that I usually do, well, then the fucking AI is going to be writing them forever, so I don't have to come up with that, and that'll save me a lot of time, which is why people turn to the AI. Oh God, I followed for the trap. Nah, I'll keep writing them. I'll keep doing them myself. But you never know that AI might come for us next. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is we have another big exit over at Activision Blizzard, this time in the form of technical director Monty Kroll. Now, I think there is a generational divide perhaps between those of us who know who Monty is versus those of us who don't. My introduction to Monty Kroll was when they did the Azeroth Choppers miniseries, and Monty was introduced to me. He was part of Team Alliance along with Chris Metzen and Taryn Gregory, and he had a pretty active Twitter presence for quite a while. Funny guy, seemed like a good dude. Never heard anything bad or saw anything bad about him in his entire run. But he seemed to quiet down after a while and didn't really hear a lot about or from him in recent years. Apparently he switched over and was working on Arclight Rumble in recent years, but he tweeted out that after 22 years and 9 months, July 21st was his last day at Blizzard, and he, bumped out Alliance Forever. One of our faithful Alliance members will be out in the wild now, but his history is such that he came into Warcraft, or came into Blizzard, I should say, way back in 2000, and thought he was going to be working on StarCraft 2. Instead, he was working on World of Warcraft. And he worked on Warcraft for a very long time, but at one time touching a lot of the other franchises within Blizzard. And his job was essentially to help create and cultivate the tools, the internal tools that all of the developers use to make the games. So pretty high level stuff. And he was always seemingly a good dude, good presence. He and Taryn Gregory seemed to get along pretty well, and Taryn, again, one of the beacons of light in all of this. So kind of hope that again, that those two are friends. It's sort of like a badge of honor. Like you get approval from this dude, then I think you're okay. But met him during the like I said, Azeroth Choppers competition. This was 2014, so been a while, but didn't say where he was going, or at least last I looked, didn't say where he was going yet. But wish him all the best. Wish him well and all the best. There we go. Monty Kroll, after almost 23 years at Blizzard, off and running. All right. I think we've done enough damage for one episode. My thanks to all of you for listening. And remember, you can always follow me and this show on Twitter or whatever the fuck it is now, at Berserker Rage and Unshackled_Fury, as well as on Twitch at Unshackled Fury and Real Berserker. I also have a Threads and a Blue Sky account now. Threads is same Berserker Rage and Unshackled_Fury. And Blue Sky, I actually got Berserker. So if you look me up there, I'm there. By golly. You can also join our Discord. Links for which are in the profile of the show on Twitter and on our bonus roll page. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise through any of those resources or unshackledfury.com. And you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.